one of the opening songs that he often did was Whoa, Whoa, Yay, Yay. So it's a beautiful Aboriginal chant that is he wolf calling to she wolf and she wolf responding, but it's so much more than that. It's the balancing of all the forces that need balancing within us. And now as Barclay's on the other side, balancing what is, what has been, what will be, here and there, past and future, present, and so it's always been a balancing of the forces within us that need balancing. The inner forces balanced within themselves, the inner and the outer balance, the higher and the lower, the masculine and feminine that we all carry within. And so as we sing this, it's funny because I'd asked to share this song and there was no time, so I love how spirit works because now all of a sudden there's time. And as we sing this, I really invite you to just allow what needs balancing within you to come to balance, self and other, all of the busyness as we come into the Advent season, the Christmas season, that we can really just bring balance to ourselves, to this planet, to relationship, to community. Barclay was so much about community, and so as we sing this song, let it just really have that felt presence. Barclay really always reminded us to feel the words vibrate in our throats, in our bodies, wherever in your body you feel it. So I invite you to tune into yourself now as we arrive, and then we'll just have a moment of silence, and then we'll start singing. And then just tune in after we sing to feel what's different in your body after we share it together in this beautiful Aboriginal chant. So again, the words are very simple. Whoa, 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 yay, whoa, yay, whoa, yay, whoa, yay, 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 whoa, yay, whoa, yay, whoa, yay, whoa. So it's very simple. Most of you know it, many of you know it. So you can join in right away at the beginning, and Thank you, Barclay, for all of your beautiful presence on this earth plane, and now your beautiful presence in the cosmos, dancing in a greater realm. Thank you.
All right. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 and 103. Are we there?
Yeah, that's great.
Are we there yet?
It's fantastic.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. You're hearing it in the ear? Sweet darkness.
Go there. Go down there.
Du Dunkelheit, aus der ich stamme, you darkness of whom I am born. I love you more than the flame that limits the world to the circle it illumines and excludes all the rest. But the dark embraces everything, shapes and shadows, creatures and me, people, nations, just as they are. It lets me imagine a great presence stirring beside me. I believe in the night.
Welcome everyone to this sacred space at Beechwood and to this celebration of Barclay's life. I'm the Reverend Victoria Scott, and I'm the rector at St. Luke's Anglican Church, where we honored Barclay with a funeral in the Anglican tradition yesterday. We begin by acknowledging that we gather today on the unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation. We give thanks. May we dwell on this land with respect and justice and peace. We have come together today because we loved Barclay. We're here to honor him and all he meant to us. There is profound grief and sadness over losing Barclay. We miss him, and we will continue to miss him. We're here to grieve and to comfort each other by sharing words and song and story. But there is hope in what we share today. Those words, those songs, those stories are infused with Barclay's spirit, and that spirit lives on in each of us, and we share it when we gather together like this. And so we'll spend this time today watching. What a blessing to have Barclay on film, and listening, and we'll have several opportunities to join our voices together, and you'll find words printed in your order of service. Thank you for being here.
I'm hoping you'll all join in on this song called Return Again. How many people know that song? Okay, good. A couple of people can come up and help me sing this, right? 1, 2, 3. So it's return again, return to the place of your soul. And now we go who, what, where. So we say return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return again, return to the place of your soul. It sounds more complicated than it is. Okay. So let's just try it. We'll sing it a few times in memory of Barclay, who had a totally profound effect on me and a lot of other people. So here's how it goes. Just join in, okay? Do not hold back. Return again. Return to the place of your soul. Return to the place of your soul. And again. Return again. Return to the place of your soul. Here comes the who, what, where part. Ready? Here we go. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return again. Return to the place of your soul. Return to the place of your soul. But that was one complete time through. See what I mean? Now we're going to do the whole thing all again. Then what are we going to do? We're going to open up the vowels so that the ocean can flow through. Right? Here we go. Open it up. Return quietly. And we'll repeat that. So we'll just, we'll do it once through, we'll repeat the last line 3 times like we did quietly, like this.
Summer day. What made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who's eating sugar out of my hand, who's moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
than beautiful. The voice is powerful, and a powerful agent of change in helping people to open up to what is hidden inside them.
Okay, so there's guys who will go and they'll drive a car 160 miles an hour. There's guys that jump off cliffs into the ocean and whatnot. But you ask a guy to stand up, who's never been in front of people before, stand up and sing, they're terrified.
Listen, I remember just a few years back, there's a program that I do here in this church up in that space there, where about once a month, though 50, 60, sometimes more people get together and we sing very, very simple songs. And people often come thinking that they really can't sing. You know, an awful lot of us were told when we were 6 years old to stand in the back row of the classroom choir and just mouth the words. Smile, but don't sing. And you know, that's been so crippling to so many of us. Well, people come to this, many of them thinking that they can't sing, and invariably they leave with a smile on their face.
Next we're going to hear Amazing Grace. So I invite those who are involved in singing that to come forward.
This song is intended to be sung by all of us here today. So please, everybody has the lyrics in their program, so please join us and sing along.
I believe that there is something waiting in all of us, often struggling to be born, that can be brought out through our authentic connection with that, through our voice. And my job is to be the invitation that makes it safe for that unknown thing to poke its head out, be encouraged, coaxed sometimes out into the world. I will welcome it and I will give it back. I believe it is really, really tragic that in our culture and in our society, we have given art over to the people who are good at it. You know, painters and sculptors and poets and singers and all kinds of performers. And we sit and admire. Some of us are blessed to sometimes be the ones who are admired, but you know, everyone has a right. That's the birthright of everyone, to be a creator.
From Barclay's doctoral dissertation, entitled Dancing Voice, Moving Spirit, the Reclaimed Voice as Agent of the Spirit. My experience of life has been complex. I have enjoyed great success and felt the suffocating crush of failure. I have known great happiness, alone and in relationship, and I know the life-sapping heartbreak of loss. I have spent my share of time on the via negativa. Yet, as I discover a new work that, for the first time in my life, is truly a vocation, I have been surprised, joyfully surprised, that everything in my past experience, the dross as well as the gold, is useful, as I find myself these days a kind of midwife in other people's transformation. I have been, among other things, a teacher, a naval officer, and a broadcaster with a highly rated daily continent-wide show. Yet this new work, the surprise of adverse circumstance, lights up my life and fulfills it as none other. I honor it as a gift from God. And in returning to its donor that gift, invested in others' transformation with Meister Eckhart, I see myself as a creative partner of the divine source. This work of a reinvented life is what I want to be doing for the rest of my days. And that he did.
then the homework for week 9 is we are back to your life again, but it's that part of your life way out there that you haven't lived yet and that you can't know. But you project yourself out there, knowing nothing about this space between here and there, other than that when you sit down at the end of your life and you look over that life as you are leaving it, and you know, hey, I finished well. I did okay. And I have something to leave behind me. I have something to say to the people who are around me as I go off on my final journey. Here I sit, I'm a grand old man, and this is what I have to say to you. Your legacy.
Wow.
Begins in silence, and music ends in silence. Thus spake Barclay McMillan. Thank you for being here to celebrate our Barclay. He was a beautiful gift to us, but we were also a gift to him, because he couldn't do voice work without our voices. And it was a great joy to him to help people discover and recover their voices. And even though, as we heard from his doctoral dissertation, Barclay considered his work of the last 30 years or so to be his true vocation, he was a teacher all his life. His first job out of high school was teaching grade school in Namur, Quebec. And one of his students from that time signed the Ottawa Citizens online guest book for condolences and memories, Mary Gail Wilson. And she said, Barclay was my teacher in 1950 at Namur, Quebec. So in 1950, he was 18. Recall coming home at Christmas with Barclay and other students to Ottawa, where my parents had a long chat with him at Union Station. I'm sure he'll be missed by everyone he met and his family. He was, as I remember, quite handsome. Barclay would have liked that last bit. As you know, Barclay was great at a lot of things, and he was especially good at saying thank you. And even in these last few months, when he was so frustrated with mobility issues and lack of appetite and the constant fatigue, he still lived in gratitude. He deeply appreciated things, like how Dave Haxton would always turn on the heated car seats when he picked him up from dialysis, even in the summer. And he loved it when Adam came to visit, and Roxanne and Joan and Arthur. And he would say, I'm exhausted all the time, but can brighten for visitors. And he was so grateful for Allison's kindness in driving him to his appointments, for Dave and Joanne Bennett arranging a drive through Gatineau Park so he could see the beautiful fall colors, and the dinner invitations from Eric Darwin and from Ann Schmitz and from the Ziptians. Not many of you know the Ziptians, but a lot of you have been to their house on the river on Revelstoke Drive. I told Karen Ziptian last week that I really didn't think she understood how many of us had been to her house to have tea with Barclay. And I knew Barclay really wasn't well, wasn't himself, when the Ziptians went away earlier this year and, as usual, asked Barclay to house sit, and he told them that he wasn't up to it. He loved that house and sitting by the river and having people over for tea and conversation. Their sunroom was even the backdrop for some of the most powerful scenes of Craig Connolly's documentary about LifeSong. It was a very special congruence because Barclay was so pleased about the documentary and so grateful to Craig for his work and his skill as a filmmaker. As he said in one of his last email newsletters, he considered LifeSong
to have been the most satisfying and important part of his life. And he was so delighted to have connected with Chris MacLean and to have her continue his work. Barclay appreciated brilliant artists, but he also always reminded us that there is the perfection of the flower and there is also the perfection of the bud. I want you to know that he had excellent care that Saturday night at the Civic Emergency Room. The staff were compassionate and caring and kind and determined to ensure that his wishes were followed. I know he would have been so grateful for that. And he would have been so grateful to have all of you here today, to know that he was special to you, as all of you were very special to him.
Hello, friends. It's been lovely to sing with you. I'm sure Barclay would love this, that we're all here singing. My name is Julie Comber, and just about this time, 7 years ago, I finished LifeSong with Barclay. And like so many of you, it had a profound effect on my life. It gave me perspective, and he helped to unleash my authentic voice. And I'm actually wearing one of the props from the musical at the end, the Dr. Who scarf. I would like you to please mark your calendar for Thursday, June 25th, 2020, the anniversary of Barclay's birthday. We're going to have a show in his honor. People who are LifeSong alumni are welcome to perform. And the working title is LifeSong, a tribute to Barclay. So if you're interested in helping to organize it or in performing, please contact me. My email address is in your program. And I'll actually leave, since Barclay mentioned the legacy song, I'm going to leave you with the first verse of my legacy song, which is also the last verse, because it's a circle that way, because it reminds me so much of him. And because he was such a, he taught us, but he also taught through his example. And what Catharine mentioned about gratitude, be grateful for every day. As I look back, I say, treasure every day. As I look back, I see all the love around me. And if you look around you right now, you'll see all the love and feel all the love around you, and all the love around Barclay, and all the beautiful connections he wove between us, all you beautiful people in this room. There are billions of stars in the sky, and they all shine brightly, but some of them we recognize as constellations. We know them, they belong together. They're meaningful to us, and we are all like a constellation around Barclay. So please keep shining, because when you do, you're honoring his memory and you're living his legacy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing and hearing all of you creators in June. Thank you, Barclay.
I invite you to stand and join in singing our hymn, Let Streams of Living Justice.
And let us sing unite our bodies with our voices, our minds, and our spirits. Singing is when we can truly be in the moment. This is our chance. Every time we open our mouths and sing. You'll get the chorus probably right away, and so sing along with that, and sing along with the verses if you wish.
Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. Some sing of the past, of battles lost and won. Some sing of their dreams and a new day in the sun. Some sing out for love, and some sing just for fun. In the circle of song, we are one. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. Some sing of his land, the country of their birth. Some sing of his land and the beauty of the earth. Some sing of his land for all that it is worth. In the circle of song, we are one. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. Each of us must leave this place and go back to our home. Each of us must walk a path that must be walked alone. And each of us will bear the fruit of the seed that we have sown. In the circle of song, we are one. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. In the circle of song, we are one. Last time. In the circle of song, we are one.
When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn. When death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut. When death comes like the measles pox. When death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades. I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering what it's going to be like, that cottage of darkness. And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular, and each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does toward silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement, the bridegroom taking the world in my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I've made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world.
The Bear's Lullaby is a song that I recall hearing many times at Come Sing, but also on when we celebrated Barclay's last birthday, he sang it with us. He instructed, and it always makes me think of Barclay. And I hope there are many of you here who know it. He learned it from his friends Michael and Anne Shaw, I believe that's how you say their name, who had been to a 9-day wilderness music and drama camp called the Wolf's Project up in, I think it was in Tamagmi. And apparently the song is sung holding hands and in a circle. We won't bother making you get into a circle, but maybe to, once we've learned it, because I'm going to make sure you all know it, maybe we can hold hands and maybe even stand up. I'm Chris MacLean. So I just think for those of you who don't know it, let's learn it. Is that all right? Yeah. At a time? Of course. Okay. So the words are super complicated. They're this. New, 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 new. Think you can handle that? Yes. I'm not sure what language it's in. Bear, yeah. It's the Bridgland song. All right, I'm going to sing, then you sing it back to me. New, 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 new. New, 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 new. Here we jump up a bit. New, 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 new. New, 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 new. Let's try those two lines. I'll sing them first. New, 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 new. New, 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 new. several times, and then we're going to sing it as a round in 4 parts, and you'll hear the beauty of the harmony, okay? But for now, let's just sing it straight. Here we go, 1, 2, bunch of people right here, you're group 3, and the rest is group 4. How's that? All right, imagine we're in Tamagami, sitting around a campfire. This is our campfire. So this next one is another learn on the fly song. Some of you may know it. It's a song from the Sea Islands along the coast of the eastern U.S. And it's an African-American spiritual that you might have heard. And just do your best. I'm not going to teach the harmony parts, but if you want to sing the harmony parts, please do, because it really sounds awesome. I'm going to just sing it for you, just to sort of make sure that I tweak your memory, because it's different than another song that has similar words. It goes like this. Let your little light shine, shine, shine. Let your little light shine, oh my Lord, 'cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home, trying to get home. And it could be me, and it could be you, and it could be your sister or your brother too, 'cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home, trying to get home. Does that sound at all familiar? Some of you I know it, so please, let's stand up and try this. Make you work a little bit. All right, you want me to sing and you sing back? Sure. Okay. Let your little light shine, shine, shine. Let your little light shine, shine, shine. Let your little light shine, oh my Lord. Let your little light shine, oh my Lord. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home. And it could be me, and it could be you. And it could be me, and it could be you. Or it could be your sister or your brother too. Or it could be your sister or your brother too. 'Cause it may be someone down in the valley trying to get home, trying to get home. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home, trying to get home. Let's just do this. We can do it. Yeah. Sing harmony if you want to. Pick out your own. It's all right. It's all good. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let your little light shine, shine, shine. Let your little light shine, oh my Lord. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home, trying to get home. And it could be me, or it could be you, or it could be your sister or your brother too. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home, trying to get home. Let your little light shine, shine, shine. Let your little light shine, oh my Lord. 'Cause there may be someone down in the valley trying to get home, trying to get
Our next song, All I Ask of You, Roxanne's going to lead us in, brings our time here together to a close in this space. But we'll continue to celebrate Barclay with stories and conversation at a reception just down the hallway there. But you are definitely invited to stay and sing this last song. Thank you for sharing this time, for being here, and wishing you every blessing today and always.
Most of you know this song. There's 2 phrases, one in English, one in Arabic. Those of you who want to sing the English one, go for it. Those of you who want to sing the Arabic, go for it. I'm not going to separate you. You're going to know which one you want to sing. All I ask is 2 things. That you sing from the depth of your being. And the second thing, when I do this, we just end in silence. The first phrase is this one. I will sing it for you. I've heard it online in different ways, so don't let my way stop you. You sing it your way, okay? English. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. Everybody continue, and then the Arabic will come in. English. 1, 2, 3, and. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you.